Okay, hello and good evening, everyone. Apologize for starting a few minutes late. Technical difficulties.
Some of us are in the wrong place. I
Oh
hate to
no.
point out.
Oh great. Some,
Hi, everyone. I'm
almost
Bonus Dad.
everyone. All right, let me fix this real quick. Well, I would love to do introductions, but I clearly need to fix where everyone is. But we'll
I mean,
go.
it's
We'll
fine.
go in the order it's supposed to be. So, Bonus Dad, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off, telling us who you are and who you'll be playing tonight. Oh, I think you might be muted, Bonus Dad.
Yep, I was. Excuse me. I am Bonus Dad, and I am playing um, Eric Nailo, uh, uh, known as goes by Nail. He's a Greyhawk High Elf rogue, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Bonus Dad. Look forward to
You're welcome.
to uh, everyone else. Okay, so up next, Ace, if you wouldn't mind, please introducing yourself and your character.
Yeah, I'm Ace. Tonight I'm going to be playing Apollo, the Hobgoblin Ranger.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Up next, Sinovia, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and your character, please.
Hi, I'm Sinovia, and I will be playing Catalina, a lean, green, socially awkward machine.
Beautiful. And Pixel.
Hey, everybody. My name is Pixel, and I will be playing Everard Eldertingle, Halfling Shadow Sorcerer, Scrivener, and, sort of bloodthirsty little freak. And we will be I'll be playing him tonight. You can also find me elsewhere on the internet, of course. Friday night, we'll be DMing a pretty crucial episode of Curse of Strahd. It's the last episode of that before we go on a short break due to a casting scheduling conflict. And so it should be a big episode. Please come check that out. Also, you can find me on twitch.tv/hammerpixel, where I've been playing a whole bunch of stuff. Lately, we've been playing Necess, which is kind of like a survival crafting game. I basically describe it as Terraria meets RimWorld, if you're familiar with those games. We also play Baldur's Gate 3 and a whole bunch of other stuff, so come hang out whenever I stream. And that's me and what I do and who I am today.
Wonderful. All right, and I am Beast. I will be your DM for tonight for the fourth session of my homebrew campaign, The Way Forward. This is a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition based homebrew campaign. And if you'd like to learn more, you should watch all the other videos on YouTube at our Ages of Ainur YouTube channel. So, who would like to very quickly catch us up as to what happened last episode? Anyone?
Well, last episode, we began as our heroes were being trundled out to a very strange vessel known as the Salty Squirter, and the pirates whom had been contracted by the Postmen to ferry people around the creek, which is a somewhat impassable, swampy area filled with horrible, terrible life forms, like crackle cats and scrogs and a whole bunch of other wild, weird animals and monsters. And so the pirates took us onto the ship. We had doctored a letter that was from Prince Zafriri of Jafrune, who had been appointed as the Lord High Lord of Agrost, following the death of the Lord High Lord of Agrost at the hands of a band of adventurers. Um, and he had thus acquired enough political sort of pull and sway to have the various crimes of his husband, the captain of the Salty Squirter and renowned pirate, and sort of person in charge of the Bart Company by the name of Salagutio Bart's or Captain Soggy Boots, have his crimes annulled and forgiven. As a result, was to appoint him the head of the Postmen, the Postmaster General. Um, Apollo thought that that probably wasn't a great thing to do because it was a letter openly admitting that this guy was a criminal and was going to be put in charge of a very important organization. So we decided to alter that letter to sow discord in this man's loving relationship and make him think that his partner was cheating on him, and also that his sort of subsidiary pirate by the name of Sabine was not only sleeping with his husband, but plotting against him to become Postmaster General, have her crimes annulled, and take over the part company. And he was extremely fraught. He didn't even attend his own anniversary party. We attended the anniversary party anyway. The pirates began to steal all of the magic items that we were supposed to be taking to what amount to the magical police cult of the Beast Wilds, and began to just distribute the magic items amongst themselves in a sort of lottery slash Dirty Santa type arrangement. And we participated in that, got some magic items, and then decided that we needed to get off this boat. So we engaged in some lively political debate, stole a bunch of stuff, threw a magic item that was not ours into a furnace that was running the steamship, blowing that up probably as we left our captain and scrivener to, I don't know, die or whatever on the boat, and got on the little raft with our cart and went back and tried to go back to land. And I believe that's more or less where we left off. Someone please let me know if I was incorrect.
So where y'all are now is the salty squirter itself is the engine is beginning to rev up. It is starting to move away from you. You are all on the ferry barge that was lashed to the boat, which you are all on now. All of your NPC hireling folks are there. Serena, Glemma, Knock Knock, Saucy. Captain Granelthy and Squeefa were left on the boat, and the waters around the boat are infested with aboleths, horrid whale-sized tentacle beasts with telekinetic powers, and your goal is to now make it back to land. Is there any other details that folks would like to backfill before we kick it off from there? Okay. All right, well, y'all got some fun magic items as party favors from this disastrous anniversary, a first and possibly last wedding anniversary for good old Captain Soggy Boots and his beloved Jafrune. Now, I would like you all to roll initiative. In these aboleth-infested waters, as the salty squirter begins to chug off into open water, you hear the hissing of steam and the rattling of gaskets as the engine begins to heat up more and more to the point of overheating. It's only a matter of time, you think, before the whole thing goes kablooey. The salty squirter is going to take off relatively slowly. It needs to build up quite a bit of steam. But in order for you all to row for your lives, to escape the explosion, and to avoid getting snatched by aboleths, you are going to have to try very hard to get to shore. The salty squirter is behind you, the shore is in front, and in between are dangerous waters. So, we are going to do a skill challenge. As the salty squirter begins to kick off and hum into life and chug, some of the pirates start to raise alarms, and you hear both Captain Granelthy and Squeefa, your former captain and scrivener, or current captain and scrivener until they die, or you are fully parted, they run to the side of the salty squirter to look over at where the ferry was, and then tracking along, they can see you off in the distance as they jump into the water to avoid being stuck on this pirate ship, along with several other pirates. The two that you can make out very clearly are Meatbone and Squeefa, the two pirates that were waiting for you at the ferry crossing. So Meatbone, Squeefa, Captain Granelthy, and Scrivener Hufupa have all jumped into the water in order to avoid taking off into the middle of nowhere, as you all tell me your initiatives, please. Who got above a 20?
I got 24.
Okay. Who got between 15 and 20?
I had a 15.
Okay. 10 and 15?
I have a nice
Aye.
healthy 10.
I have a 13.
13, okay. Catalina. All right. So. Chugga, 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 chugga. Oh no! People jump, splash, splash into the water, and you watch horribly as many of these pirates are sucked under by hungry feeding tentacles. The aboleths in the water have awakened, and as I mentioned before, this will be a skill test a skill challenge in order for you all to get to shore. So just like when you drove the wagon through the muddy rain, we're doing the same thing. Destination, dry land. So to quickly go over the rules, you will need 3 successes before you hit 3 failures. Each of you are going to go in turn until we get up to the number of successes we need. Some extra rules. For every failure that you get, one of those 4 NPCs that are in the water is going to get left behind. So Meatbone, Squeefa, Granelthy, and Hufupa all stand to be lost permanently. You can choose to prioritize them, save them, with a successful skill test. That will not count towards your 3 successes that you need in order to propel yourself towards land. So those are additional objectives for y'all. So you can take some time to try and rescue people out of the water, but it will leave you open to being in the water longer, and it may expose you to additional threats. So, in initiative order, Apollo, you are the first to react. There's a good distance now of open water between you and the salty squirter as it begins to chug in the opposite direction. You see many people swimming towards the raft, getting sucked under. You see Meatbone, Squeefa, Granelthy, and Hufupuk all crying out. Each of them in turn, Squeefa is shouting, "Save me! Save me! I'll do any surgery you want!" And you can see he's floating on his meat cleaver, good old 5 chops. Squeefa, his buddy, "Save me! I will be your scrivener for free!" Granelthy is sort of choking water, paddling with one hand, holding up the itinerary. "Save me so I can retire, and I'll give you the itinerary so you know where you're going." And it's important to note the itinerary also allows you to get rations at the stops along the way. If you don't have it, you won't get it. And Hufupa, "Save me, and I will report all of your crimes to the first postmaster we see." So, Ace, what does Apollo do?
Well, all of their arguments to save them were very convincing. The problem is Apollo was never part of the traditional post and thus never got traditional rations to begin with, and thus does not need the itinerary. So Apollo is just going to grab whatever ore-shaped object, be it board, whatever, And while attempting to row, he's going to more because he got a pretty good look at the things in the water earlier before they actually got onto the main boat. And objectively, while yes, he's going to be rowing, more objectively, he's kind of going to be steering. And trying to guide things, at least to avoid the massive things. I'm guessing we're not going to be able to completely avoid it, but at least avoid the majority of what he can.
Okay, what kind of a skill check do you think that is?
I'm thinking survival.
Yeah, all right. You are trying to survive, so go ahead. The DC is going to be 15 for everyone, for any skill check that you do. So please, let me know.
Right.
How does he do?
That is a 16 on the die, plus a 5 for a 21.
21 survival. Yeah, you were able to successfully navigate the waters. What does that look like, Ace? Up next will be Nail.
Yeah, I think he's kind of just this is obviously a much bigger ferry than he can maneuver by himself. But he's kind of just trying to use whatever motion in the water in conjunction with the limited rowing that he can do, just to kind of at least guide us a little bit in the proper direction to avoid the things that he's aware of in the water.
Nice. All right, Nail, you're up next. You need a DC 15 skill test. How is the night breeze getting us to shore? Or is he going to try and save someone?
Night breeze is going to try and save the captain, because I think we need the itinerary.
All right.
So I'm going to do an acrobatics check, and I'm going to grab an oar and lean way out as far as I can, and extend that oar to the captain.
Okay. Give me that check.
And that is a 16 on the die with a +6 is 22.
Light as a feather and perfectly balanced. You stretch out. The captain grabs the oar, and you're able to drag her up into the barge, damp as she is, holding the itinerary in an iron fist. Oh, you know what? You're getting a promotion once we get to dry land. You have saved the captain and secured the itinerary. Great. Up next is Everard. On deck will be Catalina. Everard, are you helping to propel closer to shore, or are you going to save Meatbone, Squeefa, or Hufupa?
Okay, this is my moment. I am not going to save Squeefa. I, in fact, am going to make sure that Squeefa dies.
You mean Hufupa?
Yes, sorry, Fufupa.
Okay. I'm like,
Yeah,
wait,
Fufupa.
whoa, bro, what you got against Squeefa?
What did Squeefa ever do to you? Listen, if Okay, Fufupa. I'm going to use deception and tell him, grab my oar, but I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to do my best to deceive him and everyone around me that I'm actually trying to help, when in fact I'm keeping it just out of reach.
Okay, all right. DC 15.
All right. I get a +4 to this. This dice rolled a nat 20 for me earlier. Let's see if that juice is still in there. I have inspiration, and I may burn it on this. Okay. That's a 22.
22.
22 all day, 18 on the die.
Yeah, so Everard, Pixel, tell me how that happens.
Yeah, so he's just sort of so he kind of he's a halfling, right? And he's very weak. So I think it maybe makes sense that but he's trying to look here, grab this, and he's he makes it look like his arms are kind of having trouble holding the thing that far out, right? And so he's kind of, it's jagging around a little bit, and he just can't ever actually get it.
After, because Hufupa is now churning up more water and drawing attention to himself, you just see tentacles beginning to come up out of the waves around him, and they all just sort of and pull him down under, and Hufupa is gone forever, along with any accounting of your crimes thus far. We have one success out of the 3 we need to propel us to land. We have 1 saved survivor and 1 problem solved.
Listen, nobody else. That was a good check. Unless somebody makes a really good insight, nobody else knows that I didn't really try to save him.
Yeah, would anyone like to make insight checks? We all get it. All right. Tell me what Catalina does, Zenobia.
It looked legit to me.
All right, we have witnesses.
I feel like Catalina is also like, oh no, Fufa. But like, it's very much like, I don't care. Just like, you have to make it seem realistic to be like, oh no, we lost this member of the team. But then I'm going to immediately take the oar that Everard had and use it to try to propel us forward so that we're further away.
All right.
Okay, awesome. That's a nat 20. I'm going to use it for athletics.
That's 2 successes. So we do have both Meatbone and Squeefa still in the water. There's an opportunity because it's a nat 20, and I'm going to say that it's going to take you, 2 actions to enact that propulsion, but that you've secured it. You can push the barge towards land. You can also take this time to try and save anyone left in the water if you want, or does everyone just want to get the heck out of here?
How useful do we feel like as a group, Meatbone and Squeefa are?
Okay. Well,
I can tell you that Meatbone actually has an excellent medicine skill. Deceptively good, and his meat cleaver. Some of you may have heard rumors or myths or something about a pirate that could chop through anything. This is the guy. If he hits anything 5 times with his meat cleaver, it will be cut. He just has to hit it 5 times exactly.
Okay, and the other guy, Squeefa.
So yes,
we're going to need a scrivener, and we've lost.
We have a scrivener.
We have one right there.
You are down a scrivener.
That's right. Everard is a scrivener. Okay, I forgot about that.
He's also kind of your stand-in cat. Well, he was your stand-in captain.
Yes.
Captain's still around.
Sorry about that, Evie.
Oh, hey, listen. I'm as torn up as you are. We're all equally sad about this.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Meatbone is offering some sort of just to be another person around. He comes with a powerful magic item and a little bit of usefulness. And Squeefa has essentially offered to replace the person who sadly has not persisted, your former scrivener, Hufupa. He would make an almost identical stand-in. He just probably wouldn't complain or be nearly as nasty towards y'all.
I mean, go ahead.
How sad would Meatbone be without him? Because if Meatbone is useless because he's too sad, then we have to save both of them. Or
Meatbone is surprisingly emotionally resilient. He's fairly well adjusted. He knows what he wants. It's up to you if you want to save anyone or move on.
I mean, the only person I bore active animosity towards has been dealt with, so I'm pretty ambivalent. I mean, it's more mouths to feed, but also maybe more, blades to have in the dark. So I don't know.
If anything, it's If we only save one person, it's the same amount of people that we were feeding before, technically.
That's true.
That is true. So it's really like a net zero in terms of feeding.
Yeah, meat bone might be useful.
Yeah. I'll save Meatbone.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go to the top of the initiative again, and I'll run through. Everyone is allowed to make skill checks. I'll say that because you are speeding up, the DC is a little bit higher to make sure that you snag them in time. So we'll say it's a DC 17. Whatever skill check you want to use or ability, if you can justify it, let me know. So, Ace, is Apollo going to attempt to save one of these beleaguered pirates?
No, he's pretty indifferent about everybody in the water, honestly.
Ace is continuing to keep y'all safe from aboleths.
He and in fact, to do so, I think he's going to attempt to use acrobatics. And he's basically going to try to jump to one side of the boat to thus lean the boat and angle us further in towards land, as opposed to, actually trying to continue out into the water.
Yeah, do it. Up next, Nail.
Okay, well now hold on a minute, because that's a natural 20 on the die.
Oh.
I mean, that brings y'all up to 5 successes. So what I'm willing to say is that I was going to have y'all make dex saves against getting snatched right at the end out of the water. I think you're fine.
Love that.
All right, Nail, do you attempt to save one of the beleaguered pirates?
Nail wants to try to save Meatbone, I think. So
All right.
let's see.
Save me!
And
I can't
I'm getting
swim.
same shtick. Take an oar, grab the gunnel of the boat, and lean out as far as I can. Do a double back flip, extend the oar out to Meatbone, and I got a 19 on the die with a 6 added to that. That's a 25.
Beautiful.
So,
yeah, Meatbone is able to grab on with one hand. He's sort of like leaning his chest on top of the cleaver that he's sort of using as a flotation device. So you're able to sort of drag him until you hear that knock of the cleaver against the side of the boat. And you're able to just flip them both in. Thank you. Tell you what, if you ever need an amputation, I'll make sure all your limbs are the same size. Everard, do you attempt to do anything to save Squeefo?
Everard has nothing I think that's useful in this scenario. I don't know if you would allow this. I think the only thing Everard feels like he can contribute is maybe a help action.
All right, well then let me
Because
ask.
I have -2 strength. I don't even have good sleight of hand or something to tie a good lasso. He's just...
So if Everard looks at Catalina, is Catalina preparing to do anything that Everard could help with?
If we're gonna save Squeepa, I have +4 to strength. I can grab him.
Just scoop him up.
Just back of the shirt.
Is that what Catalina is going to try to do?
Yeah, sure. And I feel like Everard is just hanging on the back of whatever shirt I'm wearing as a counterbalance. So
sure,
that I don't
just a little
fall.
extra weight on the leverage.
All right, both of you give me athletics checks. We'll take the higher of the two.
That is an 18.
I would have to roll a nat 20 to even get an 18. So, let's check here.
Stranger things have happened.
That's a 9.
Okay, Catalina, you were able to lean out perfectly far enough without Everard's help. It's nice, it makes it a little easier maybe, but you've got it. You practically scoop Squeefa up out of the water with one arm and just plop him down onto the barge. Squeefa and Meatbone hug. I'm so glad we are saved together. But where is the other dwarf? He was right next to me. Don't you worry about him. Oh, that's
I'm
a
sorry. I
shame.
tried my best to save him, everyone, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't reach. I'm too little.
He's too little. I mean, look at his arms. All right. The captain takes her hat off of Everard, puts it back on her head, adjusts it. All right, look, we're coming in pretty hot to dry land, so I need everyone to brace for impact. And even as Captain Granathy says that, you all just sort of seem to very gently glide, and as anyone might notice, Apollo is just like turning a plank to just like fight the waves, and it's a real smooth taxi. You brush up against a sandy soil, gravelly beach, and you're able to safely disembark on the edges of the creek. Now, as you all are able to put your feet on dry land again, dry-ish, Saucy, Glemma, Knock Knock, the captain, Meatbone, Squeefa, and sadly, a space where Hufupa used to be, are all with you. What's next?
I have a question. Are we on the? Are we back at where we started from? Did we get around the creek?
You're almost to the other side.
Okay.
You're in the edges, the outskirts of the creek. You're up against the water, so it's still kind of thin here. If you're looking north, which is where you're supposed to go, the captain takes out the itinerary, looks at it. Yeah, Dusty Springs. That's just past the creek. North is where you're headed. East is the entire expanse of the creek, which you're sort of inside. West is back out to open ocean. And south is the way you came.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the magical items we were bringing basically to the magic police were so that they could be discarded and destroyed, correct?
Or stored away, or just contained, yeah.
If we can prove that they were destroyed in this when we get there, do we still get paid?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that... I think the only person that might be able to answer that would be the captain. That's a very interesting... it's a very interesting question, the captain says, fondling a new diamond earring. We still have an itinerary. So, theoretically, we still have a delivery to make. And looking around at everyone, Catalina's got a golden whip. Everard's got, like, a necklace and some other stuff. Nail is, tucking away a little clockwork dragon familiar. I could be persuaded to look the other way, or, maybe...
You could be put back in the water.
I was just thinking the same thing. We could have
Hey,
left you
Meatbone,
with the. We could have
When's
left
the
you
last
with
time
the
you did
abelisks.
surgery?
Oh boy, it could be right now if... All right, well, in that case, I think we're due for a little R&R, don't you think? Tell you what, me and the new guys, pointing at Meatbone and Squeefa, we're gonna tidy up the wagon. Why doesn't everyone else make camp? Get something to eat. Settle the nerves, I think we're all a little high tension right now. And and then we can get to the road, wherever the road is. And looking around, you're, on a beach next to a dense jungle. Wherever the road is, well, don't worry, we'll figure out the way forward.
As the captain says, that we're all a little like uptight, Everard just sort of holds his hand out, deadly still, and glances at it for a second, and then goes about his business.
All right. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a short break, about 10 minutes, and when we come back, I think we're gonna have a special guest. So stay tuned if you're watching on stream, um, and we'll find out what happens after the break. All right, y'all. See y'all in about 10 minutes. Whoopsh. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back, and we have an extra little face here. Oh, there he is. He's right above me. Jacob, if you would please introduce yourself, and we will meet your character in just a few minutes.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Jacob. Been on Ages of Einor a decent handful of times, I would say. Really excited to be here, even if it's for a temporary stay.
We'll see how temporary, but yeah, it could be 2 minutes and then we kill you off and make it all dramatic. Who knows? But as camp is being set here on the edge of the creek, I would like everyone, sans Jacob, to make perception checks with their character.
Okay, 17, not the worst.
18.
All right.
Now you only got a dirty 20.
We got a big old 5 from Everard. Used my lawful stupid die, and for the first time, it let me down.
All right. Well, that means it owes you a nat 20 next.
You hear that?
So I'm actually curious. What do you think Everard's doing that he is just not paying attention to everything else?
I think he actually probably has gone up to the captain and is pitching himself as a possible scribe. So he's sort of like, I know we're all deeply troubled by the passing of our companion Fufupa, whose meticulousness and rigidity to the established order was of note. I am literate and fluent in several languages, and I suppose I can tender my services, perhaps as scrivener in lieu of his tragic passing. It's a shame that we lost all those notes, but what could be done?
Make a persuasion check for me.
Oh boy, which dice? Which dice do we use? We'll go with this one. Okay, that is a 14 all day.
Okay, 14. The captain straightens out some of the feathers on her hat. Takes what you said in stride. Says, "All right, tell you what, little guy. I'll give you the same deal I gave Hufupa. You give me the first bite of every meal you eat, and I get to sip half of your wine."
Done.
All right, you shake hands. Ha ha! Joke's on you. I only got to sip a third of Hufupa's wine. You fool.
And for some inexplicable reason, Everard smirks at that whole exchange.
Inexplicable. Apollo and Catalina, you are paying attention out into the creek when you hear ching, cling. And Nail, you hear these sounds of metal on metal, and on top of all of that, you're able to see, just briefly, an intense flash of golden light off in the woods. And you're able to direct everyone's attention towards the direction that it came from.
Hey, everybody, take a look over there through the woods to the east, right there among the trees. I just saw a flash of light in there, and I'm hearing some metal against metal, some kind of tinkling sound. Does anybody else hear that?
Cling, cling.
There it is again.
By now, you would all have heard it.
I think Catalina is just gonna unhook Saucy, and both of us just start walking towards it together. Like, Hey, if anything happens, I do have a horse-sized wolf next to me. I will be okay.
Okay, Big Saucy and Catalina are taking the charge. Is anyone following them?
And Niall just sort of flanks her to the other side of Saucy, and he is very stealthy as he slips through the trees.
All right.
I
Niall
mean,
joins.
yeah, Everard will follow along behind. Definitely behind all the bigger people so that he's less likely to get hit by stuff.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where Apollo is. Like he's just gonna follow the group. Range is kind of his advantage. So he would step back a little ways, but try to keep an eye like mostly on the surroundings, like in case it's a distraction in front of us. He's gonna try and watch the outer limits.
All right. So as you all progress into the crick, Niall leading, pointing the way, you come upon a clearing, and the first thing that you notice is that there is a torch that has been shoved into the ground, providing light, dim light across this clearing. Whereupon you can see there are 3 bodies covered in blood, corpses dead, and there is a gentleman kneeling. Jacob, would you please describe your character?
Yeah. So the first thing that you notice is probably his physique. Uh, he's got this like barreled chest, very like broad shoulders, large arms, extremely like uh, someone who is very in shape, but also you see kind of the thinning away at key parts of someone who hasn't been eating very well. Um, they're wearing these kind of tattered uh, pieces of cloth over some armor over this like heavy set plate mail. You would recognize the gray and gold of the postman's uniform, pieces of it. Uh, as they kind of turn, you see their face, and they have this thick set blonde beard. Their face is very like covered in freckles, but also scarred from various past encounters. Pale skin, and kind of some short, spiky blonde hair. My timer's going off on my oven.
Do it,
It's
do it, go
terribly
on.
timed. I will be back in like 2.5 seconds.
So you all
Okay.
see this figure wearing a tattered postman's tabard, um, armor in ill repair, but clearly someone who is very capable. Um, and you have all noticed him before he's noticed you. So what do you guys do?
Real quick, would you reiterate for me so there's a bunch of dead bodies. Like, what's the circumstance that we're finding this person here?
Yes. So you have found this person in this clearing in the crick. You heard the sounds of clashing and clanging metal. You have found them sort of stooped next to 3 bodies. Everard, you notice one of the bodies is wearing the uniform of a censor of the Center Antiquarian. 2 of the other bodies are I think everyone would kind of put together from looking at them long enough that they were what you've heard described as gilded lilies. These are sort of like assassin spies who were the pride and joy of the late King Kaiser, Lord High Lord of Agros, the king of one of the 5 cities of the Pentarchy. This city, the city of Agros, as you all would probably know through news by now, has undergone a civic revolt, and the Censor Antiquarian went there and slaughtered the postmen and nether folk who had risen up in the wake of the Lord High Lord's recent martyrdom. So, you all see this guy kneeling in a clearing in the crick, 3 dead bodies. He's holding an object which is covered in cloth or fabric, a covering of some kind. What happens next?
Does Catalina recognize like the tattoos of the gilded lilies as like something that she's seen on her uncle's girlfriend's girlfriend?
Yeah, I think you would put that together to the point where you would, Catalina would be able to definitively identify the two of the three bodies as being formerly alive, at least, gilded lilies.
Oh yeah, she's not messing with this guy. She's like, if you can kill them, I don't want none of this business. She kind of like takes a step back.
All right. Well, Saucy sort of looks down at you.
Do I see them?
Uh, Make a perception check. Would anyone are you guys being stealthy? Are you trying to hide?
Nail made a cautious approach because we didn't know who or what this was or what was going on. So,
I'll say
at this point, I don't think Nail has been noticed.
so. I'll just say the DC is about 15 for you to notice them, Jacob.
All right, I got no perception, so that's a 17.
You hear the cracking of twigs. You think you hear a beast snarling in the dark just outside of the clearing, and you look in that direction.
Yeah, I think his head turns like very rapidly, and if anyone is kind of close enough or has good enough eyesight to kind of see, his eyes are kind of like darting and wild, and he stands up and assumes a fighting stance, a very like well trained, like artisan soldier stance.
Everard actually takes the lead here and sort of like stumbles into the clearing with his hands up. I'm sorry, don't kill me, please. So you see this little halfling, who has kind of like slick back hair, like a little goatee, and he's wearing a sort of approximation of a postman's uniform that seems like it's seen some hard travel. Um, and he just sort of like enters with his hands up.
And Nail steps out of cover, has an arrow knocked to his short bow.
Okay.
Okay, well that kind of blows the whole rig, but all right, thanks, Niall.
Hey, you should have said something, bro.
I mean, but he would have heard me talk. Well, hey there, fella. This got awkward real quick.
Just backing you up.
Yeah, the person kind of like shifts and like whatever this object covered in cloth is, they kind of bring it out closer in front of them. It's still very like heavily wrapped. I would say probably from just understanding how things work, it looks very similar to a shield and just how he's handling it, kind of holding it out in front of himself. He goes, "Carriers, good to see the post is still out here."
Well, sorta, yeah. We're the last post caravan from what is it, Jafrune City?
Mm-hmm.
Headed for the Pentarchy. Sort of had a bit of trouble with the ferry. And we just sort of hit land and then started to make camp and heard some noise. And then very cleverly and bravely wandered into the absolute darkness towards the strange noises.
I make dumb decisions too. It's okay. And he kind of looks back at the corpses and then looks back up. And he goes, "I have no quarrel with you, if you have none with me."
Well, listen, any enemy of the Censor Antiquarian is a friend of mine, buddy.
Whew. I'm glad to hear that. And he sheaths his sword. And I think he like straps the cloth object, the shield, to his back.
And Nail relaxes.
It's nice to see that there are enemies of the Censor Antiquarian out here. I wasn't sure.
I pretty much fit that description.
I wasn't sure how many members of the post were still picking sides.
let's just say my side was picked for me, 60 days ago or so.
And he kind of looks pensively off into the distance. Right. Well, do you have any food?
Yes, we do. Tell you what, I like the cut of your jib. You can have my share for the day. I'll be fine.
I don't need to take all of it. Just like a bite.
No, I insist.
Oh, okay.
What are Apollo and Catalina doing in this moment?
I think Catalina is still kind of like, okay, if this guy can take on Gilded Lilies and win, I'm just going to stand not close, far enough where I can get away if I need to, but close enough that I can grab the two members of my party and throw them on Saucy's back and be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, and I think at this time Apollo's kind of lost in thought. He's thinking pretty hard about something.
Yeah, I think Catalina just kind of walks out of the darkness behind Everard, and you just see like this 6'7" half orc woman with a horse-sized wolf next to her standing behind this halfling, and she looks scared.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as Everard, who didn't see any of that because you were behind him, as he like sort of turns to lead this individual back to the camp and just like sees your expression, there's just like probably not noticeable, but he just sort of like tenses up a little bit, like, ooh, what have I done?
Yeah, you see the figure kind of like just a second, and he whistles, and shouts, "Bucephalus!"
And
calls out.
You sort of on the other end of the clearing from where y'all approached, there's some stone walls. Looks like an old building that's kind of fallen into itself, overgrown and being consumed by the crick itself. And sort of out of one of these bivouacs that's still standing trots a beautiful sort of chestnut colored horse with a saddle. This is the first horse that y'all have seen since Silver Sun, since the Skies of Shadow began, because pretty much all the rest of them went mad. And it trots up to our lone figure here.
Niles addresses this as, "What's your name, stranger?"
He kind of looks for a second. He goes, Sam. You can call me Sam.
That your work back there, Sam?
Yeah, they took something of mine.
Impressive.
Just did what I had to. Anyway, let's get some grub.
At that moment, Glemma and Knock Knock appear into the clearing, and Glemma whispers down to Knock Knock, "Sam, you see a dark-skinned netherfolk woman and a Kenku companion," and she whispers to the Kenku, "Sha, sha, sha, sha." And Knock Knock pipes up, "Captain lost the wagon! Captain lost the wagon!"
Oh, God.
And you hear sort of dense slapping of leaves and foliage as Captain Granelthy comes crashing through the brush. Okay. Wow, you know what? I have a great idea. We should make camp here in this clearing because, you know what? I decided that we don't need the wagon anymore if we're going to be walking through the creek. And it's definitely not because it rolled off the barge into the water.
I just want to let you know that sometimes I contemplate cannibalizing you.
Wow. You know, he looks back. Squeefa and Meatbone follow up close behind. You there? you do taxes, you do accounting to Squeefa. No, I am a performer and a bard. I tell funny stories. I do not do mathematics. You really let me down. All right, well, chalk that one up as a free pass there, Missy. Looks at Nail. And when I promote you, you get to punish her. So, you know, I'm deputizing you, Nightbreeze.
And you hear Nightbreeze mumble something under his breath that sounds suspiciously like something about a box of rocks.
Oh, wow. You look kind of crazy. Who's this guy? Pointing at Sam.
This is our esteemed colleague, Sam, whom we stumbled upon, having apparently survived in the wilds for a while. Um, I detected that he seems to be wearing a postman's uniform, but appears to. We're not totally sure what his story is. He seems to be very hungry and in need of assistance, and of course, we, as good post people, will happily assist one of our own. I believe that's our policy in all of the handbooks that I've read. I think so. That's kind of what we're doing.
All right. Well, like I said, we should probably just set up camp here. Seems like it's pretty safe. This guy made it safe, right? Tell you what, I'm gonna leave you guys to do that while these two, pointing at Meatbone and Squeefa, help me move these bodies out of our campsite. Let's get a cook pot going, let's get some grub, all settled down. How does that sound? Sound cool, right? Anyway, I'm gonna be over here.
I think that's the point that Apollo finally steps in and kind of just openly asks the groups, weren't we warned to specifically lay people to rest in a certain fashion while in the crick?
Yes, we were.
I mean, I was gonna throw some leaves on them. That's good, right?
I don't quite think that's what they intended.
Well, this guy over here keeps talking about amputations. I mean, easy peasy. We just make them smaller.
How about I handle the burying of the people you don't know, and you not create ghosts and monsters in the crick?
Oh, hey, you want to take some work off my plate? Sounds great. You know, you're so close to me excusing that last comment.
I'm still thinking about it.
Inside voice. All right. Well, in that
We're
case,
outside.
I
feel obligated to mention, sir.
He's right. We are outside.
Well, I'm gonna go inside that little stone thing, and let me know when the food's ready.
I would like to go look at the censor antiquarian dude.
Sure.
What do I notice about him?
Yes, so you examine, there are 3 bodies that Sam is standing next to, and the censor antiquarian one seems to be the cleanest corpse. The 2 gilded lilies are kind of cut up. This one is only missing its head. So the head is sort of separated out. You can tell that it was a half-elf man. Censor antiquarian wearing the uniform. On their left hand, around their thumb, is a gold ring that is glowing ever so lightly. And as you approach, it seems to dull a little bit, very much like the ring that you won as a party favor on the Salty Squirter. They are not carrying anything else besides some basic weapons. They do have an old gold dagger, a little bit of money, and the standard uniform of a censor antiquarian. This person was traveling light. and you can tell that they were probably trying to travel quite quickly.
Okay. I guess I look over at the blonde guy and just sort of like gesture at the ring, like, "Do you have any attached?" Sort of giving him a look that's like, do you care about the dispensation of this object?" But I don't
Uh,
actually say that, but I just sort of give you a questioning look, like,
Sam kind of peruses and goes. He kind of gestures to the shield on his back, and he goes, "I got what I came for."
okay. Um, I mean, yeah, I'll nab the ring, sure.
All right, yeah, it's another
Um,
detect non-magic ring.
and I haven't run into so like looking at the decapitated head. If I don't know what conditions it's in, but I haven't run into this person before, have I?
No, but they seem pretty par for the course. They seem like just another firstborn noble, young-ish. It probably has been taken and trained up into the censor antiquarian since they reached adulthood.
Okay.
Very much like your former boss. Um, what's anyone else doing?
Niall's going to take a look at the other two bodies.
Yeah. Niall, you come upon two bodies. They are both women. One is a half-orc. The other is an elf. They are gilded lilies, which means that they have golden swirling tattoos pretty much all across their body. Niall would know that these tattoos are made with glitter, which was the same golden flakes that you use to make the ink to adjust the edict for Postmaster General. I think Niall would understand that gilded lilies, they're sort of trained in espionage, but unlike the Order of the Silver Pearl, the Thieves Guild, they're killers. They're not nice about being secretive. They exist in secret for nefarious reasons rather than to simply purloin things. So these are like these are the kind of thing that you absolutely would avoid if you were trying to pull a job. Anyone
Anything
else?
of note? Anything else of note on the bodies?
On the bodies, no. They are wearing some light armor that's been pretty well hacked apart. Uh, they've been struck down each by a couple of blows. They have some basic weapons, a couple extra daggers, short swords if you want them.
Nope, don't need to add to my load.
All right.
If everyone's done with the bodies, I think Catalina is gonna start with like the other two, and she's gonna leave the half orc for last. And as she's like burying the half orc, she's kind of like, "You left your tribe for this, man. Things could have been better." And she like
Yeah,
buries her, and she makes sure that she buries her with the weapons.
Hmm.
I think given his background, Apollo's definitely helping in that process, just to help facilitate things. Like he's when an elder or anybody from a certain area warns you of something of that area, I think he kind of takes that to heart.
Yeah. So how do you think you go about um, uh, the burial process? How do you put these bodies into repose?
I think
Yeah,
somewhere away from the water, at least. Like I don't want these bodies washing back up. Maybe go deeper into the forest a little bit. Have Saucy help me dig.
Yeah. All right. So Saucy, you find a nice dry patch of dirt, and Saucy gets to digging. Massive, head-sized paws easily rake dirt away. You inter the gilded lily and the censor antiquarian in turn, and last is the half-orc gilded lily, whom Catalina buries with their weapons. And as you cover over the body. Does anyone say anything? Does anyone perform any kind of ritual?
I feel like Catalina feels responsible to at least do a ritual for the half orc. Like as someone who has also left my tribe behind and like strayed away from my culture, it's the least I can do for you, even though I know that you were probably not a great person.
Hmm. All right.
I think Sam, uh, anyone who's listening might hear him mutter a Pfulorite prayer under his breath while this burial is going down. Um, but I think that he kind of strays away from the burial and maybe tries to like set up like a fire pit or something for camp. Um, but when he sees the burial going on, he mutters maybe more out of uh, habit than uh, genuine care for these people. But he mutters a Pfulorite prayer.
Okay. Yeah. So I think uh, after each of you have spoken something, acknowledged their passing in some way, um, there's a small blue mote of light that just sort of rises up out of the soft earth, um, and sort of wanders off into the crick. A little will-o'-the-wisp. And that comes up from the two gilded lilies, but not the center antiquarian. Um, and you are all able to enjoy a long rest with rations. We're going to call this a nice little bit of downtime. So if anyone wants to, have conversations, prepare spells or anything, do some little side activity, now is the time to do it before the captain gets too antsy and tries to push everyone forward.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, hit me.
I think Sam, once everything is kind of set up and good to go, will at least like gesture towards the little like stone. You said there was like a stone hut or like a ruin or something that the.
Yeah, sort of like two walls of a structure that have, held up while the rest of it is kind of scattered and been torn down by the jungle around it. And you would see etched on one of the sort of cornice stones that's still there, you would see in easy enough to read letters if you brush it off, the mercy of Cormac Bart.
Uh, I think he gestures and he goes, "Is that your captain?"
Is that directed to just anyone in general, or?
Yeah, just to like anyone who's sitting at the camp.
Yeah, knock
Um,
knock pipes up. Captain, Captain.
He seems like a prick.
Prick. Glemma sort of claps him on the shoulder, like, don't do that. Sam, you would notice that Glemma, the Netherfolk woman, has been kind of staring at you this whole time.
Do I have something on my face?
She looks down and whispers to Knock Knock. And Knock Knock looks at you, Sam. Aren't you the white traitor? White traitor!
I think Sam kind of like stares for a second. He goes, "Yeah."
At this, Glemma begins to whisper a lot more intensely to Knock Knock.
You can they talk or they? I think Sam kind of like looks over towards the rest of you and is I guess I should explain. Um, my name is Sam Asparellian, the Ninth. Um, former captain of the post. Once censor expectant of the censor antiquarian. A whole lot of other names that don't really mean much. But I'm not here to hurt anybody, and as long as folks are, trying to help people, that's all I'm trying to do.
Knock Knock looks around at everyone. We were there! We were there! We came from Agros! It's his fault! His fault!
Do I know anything from like my correspondence with my uncle about Melody and her involvement with all of this and maybe the people she was with?
I think the most that Catalina would probably know, the most that would have been told to her, is something to the effect of they were in Agros during Silver Sun. A lot of bad things happened and they got out, and that they are lying low.
So all I know is that Sam was there and Melody was also there.
I think a lot of you, even having just recently joined the Postmen, you might have heard of Sam Asbarellian, the captain of the post, who was the hero of Hope Falls. So there was a terrible massacre of postmen, which happened on the Redwind Bridge. A heist that the Pirates of the Bart Company had set up. Some of your characters, other characters were there. Following that, the garrison of postmen nearby, of which Sam was a captain, had taken to increasing patrols in order to make sure that this never happened again, that that postmen weren't getting picked off. There was a massive propaganda campaign which was enacted in order to raise Sam Asbarellian up as a poster child for his involvement in what was called the heroic defense of Hope Falls, in which dozens of savage tribespeople were kept at bay and summarily executed for attempting to invade Norvean lands. Do you think that Sam might have summarized some of this at the campfire for everyone, Jacob?
Yeah, I think when the his fault gets said, I think Sam kind of stares into the fire for a second, and then he goes, and then yeah, I think he kind of summarizes Hope Falls, and he goes, "That's the story that the Pentarchy put out, that the Post put out, but it it's a lot worse than what they say." It was very dark, and we couldn't see. And all we knew that was that postmen were getting killed. An arrow landed near our camp when we were on patrol, and I took decisive action. We pinned the men unloaded crossbows into them. And it wasn't until everything had cleared, the smoke had passed, that we really got to see who was firing at us. They weren't fighters or soldiers in any capacity. I think they were scared more than anything. We submitted the report, and I was awaiting. I was waiting personally for a trial, for something. And instead, the Post called me a hero. And they twisted the story, and then Agrost happened. And that's a long story in itself. But I regret what happened every day. And I'm just trying to do some good with whatever time I have left.
Are you dying?
No.
Oh.
Not yet. No, a lot of people are dying, if you want to get technical.
Yeah.
But no, I'm fine.
Technicalities are very important when it comes to life and death, I'll tell you that.
Love you.
I get in some pretty rough encounters, if you can't tell, and he kind of gestures towards the graves.
Yeah, sensors are kind of like that.
Yeah. The situation in Agros, the White Trader, the death of King Kaiser gets a lot more complicated if you were there. Kaiser was trying to hurt a lot of innocent people. If he had it his way, I don't think any of us would be here in the first place. There was a series of events that culminated in me and a few others trying to turn Agrost into a safe haven for the Netherfoot. And we did it by killing King Kaiser. In the end, I don't think anyone really knew what was going to happen. But we tried our best. And I think Sam kind of stares into the fire a bit longer.
I feel like everyone we add to this team has weird trauma that we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
Knock Knock punches Glemma kind of in the side. It's not very strong, little guy, but Glemma kind of gets the hint. And she whispers to Knock Knock, and Knock Knock nods a few times. Glemma can't talk because of me. Because of me. We were in Agros, dredging for glitter. I slipped in the water of the loch, and Glemma saw. A postman tried to save me, but she thought he was trying to drown me. So she pushed him into the lake, but she tripped too. Another couple of postmen saw him, swam out, saved us, but Glemma got a fever from the chill. She can hardly talk now, but we swore to each other we would join the postmen. The postmen. We would make up for it. She wants y'all to know we were there when the sky was black. We couldn't move because she was too sick. But a kobold, bearing a light like the moon, healed her. She's lucky to be alive. Can't talk much, but I have good ears, so I talk for her. Talk for her. She wanted me to tell you. So there it is.
Thank you for sharing.
Glemma takes a swig of some of the Mava's reserve that y'all had pilfered from the ship, and offers to pass it to the next person. Who's next? It's Sharon time.
I feel like Catalina started up, so she's gonna be like, she takes the cup and she's like, I'm here because I was traveling with the menagerie. People who have been postmen for a little bit longer kind of know what actually happens behind closed doors at that place. It's a lot of cute little spicy shows and stuff like that, but you know, that's not where the real money's made. Completely willing, consensual participant in all of the work that I did, but my family isn't too happy with me, and I don't think I can go back. Not particularly mean or violent or anything like that. I just don't fit proper expectations. Should have at least had a kid by now. Not married. So I kind of just wander with Serena. It's just the two of us.
Serena takes the cup, sips it. Oh, that's a fine liquor. Oh, yes, Catalina is from a champion's family in the Stygian steppe. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. But us two ne'er-do-wells, we love being out on the road, seeing people's smiling faces, and knowing it's because of us. We're the reason that joy has wandered into their lives. And we don't mind collecting a fair price for our work, do we, lass?
Hey, you know, if I'm gonna be this tall and this strong and maintain that workout regimen, you're paying me.
Okay, then. Who's up next? Serena offers the cup. Who's got secrets to tell? We might as well do it now. Who knows, the next time we'll get a chance at a little bit of R&R.
I think Apollo reaches out and takes the cup, taking a drink before kind of pausing, taking a sigh. Not really. I think he's kind of avoiding eye contact with most everybody, especially probably Glemma and Knock Knock at this. But yeah, he's very much just kind of looking at the ground. He goes, I don't know that I so much have a secret to tell. Not so much anything about me, anything that's special. I mean, I've always just been some guy growing up in the slums, trying to make my way through life just like anybody else. But I had a good friend who really had things lined up for him, and he was supposed to be the one to watch out for us. He was gonna fix it. He was really gonna take care of not just us, but everybody around us, the whole city. Uh, and right when it was his moment, when he was the one that we all turned to and the one that we were really relying on to save us, he left. He just abandoned us without a word. Didn't say anything to us. Didn't even say goodbye. He was just gone. And now I find out that sounds like he's off taking care of everybody that's not us. Um, I've been told by a few people that apparently he has the ability to heal, and he kind of gestures towards Glemma and Knock Knock. He goes, several people now have mentioned tales of a kobold that can heal. And from everything I can tell, it sounds a whole lot like him. And I'll be honest, I was really upset by it. And I'm not entirely sure that I'm not still hurt by this thought that he's taking care of everybody except the people he grew up with. But I guess at least he's doing something good. So maybe there's reason that he left. And he kind of just like looks down at the cup and likely takes another long drink, not really even sure how he's feeling in this moment.
Nail reaches out and takes the cup. He raises it to his lips, and you see him inhale, but you can't really tell if he took a drink or not. He's just holding the cup. And he says, well, I've been wandering for a while. He said, I wasn't the firstborn in my family, and so I was left to find my own way, fend for myself, spend some time with a group that's, say, less than you might consider them on the other side of the law, perhaps. I don't know, but they taught me a lot of stuff, a lot of ways to get around things and keep body and soul together. And so I've used those skills to my profit, and thought I'd give the Postmen a try.
Everard takes the wine and looks at it. I feel like I've asked this once before, but are you guys cool?
Captain Granolthy, who was sort of standing off in the shadows a little bit. Yeah, I'm cool!
He's not cool.
Wasn't
Not
talking
cool.
to you.
I mean, I'm wanted by pretty much every major institution in the Pentarchy. I don't know if that makes me cool. But...
Well, that makes two of us, I guess. Everard takes the wine, and like knocks it back, and for the first time like lifts his neck, and as he like puts a little bit of the wine down his throat, it spills out of a still gaping hole in his neck, and just sort of like down the front of his clothes, and then he just sort of like sets the wine aside.
Okay.
Huh.
We all just saw that, right?
Yeah, are we just not gonna address that, or
So,
What?
you know, it sounds like we've all had some, maybe not all of us, most of us have had some issues on the day of Silver Sun. Oh, I used to be a scrivener for the Censor Antiquarian. Actually, not something I really chose. I guess you could say I won the lottery. Nobody really wins that lottery, but somehow I did. So, I was trained as a scribe, even though I'm not elven or half elven or nothing, and followed some dude censor around. And, some things happened. We met a guy, and, censor I was with at the time, you know, sort of kind of didn't make it super good. So I, went back to home base to explain things. They decided it was my fault, and, I was summarily executed on the day of Silver Sun. They hung me upside down with like a whole bunch of other people that they were executing, and slit all of our throats just as the eclipse reached its zenith. And then, much to everyone's chagrin, the sky went black and we didn't die. Or at least I didn't die. I don't know. Shit was crazy. The sky went black. People were freaking out. And I kind of got myself down and went on the run. And ever since then, well, he casts Mage Hand, I guess, and like gets, I don't know, puts another log on the fire with it. Ever since then, and when he does that, almost like this guttural voice that's like not even his own, sort of like comes out of his mouth, and his eyes, which are curiously red, but they fully go black. And you hear it's almost like he's taken over in a way by something, and he says, "Shadows block the warding light, darkness free." No, that's not the right one. Mage Hand. "Shadows fall on all the land. Shadows grant me Shadow's hand." And this little sort of like ethereal, shadowy hand sort of like pops out and picks up a log and puts it on the fire.
Catalina, you saw that, right? That was no parlor trick. That was
I'm still stuck on his throat. I kind of want to poke it. I kind of want to poke it.
Please don't.
I'm not. You didn't say I could.
Consent matters, Catalina.
But, so I suppose the first thing I owe you is an apology, because, technically I can eat, but I also don't have to. And I sort of have been eating this entire time to sort of keep the ruse up. But, yeah, I don't have to eat or sleep. Yeah.
That's convenient.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you're like dead, but that is very convenient.
I mean, most of the rest of the time that our species have existed on this world, this would be a real downturn. But I gotta say, that old halfling luck. Not only did I hit the lottery that got me into the San Aquarian, I also seem to have hit the lottery to have the best time to possibly be undead, because everybody's starving and I don't have to eat.
Can I eat your food from now on? I'm just saying, I'm like twice everybody's size, and I get one bowl.
You'll have to fight the captain for some of it, I think.
She made a deal with you. I'm not you.
The captain wanders into the firelight. Oh, I totally get the whole second-born thing. My older sister, I'm Granolthy. Garliathy. She was a card. Oh, I miss her. She died like a couple months ago. She was in the Censor Antiquarian, the real pride and joy of our family. Man, if I ever catch that halfling, they said they executed him, but then you see her sort of wine-soaked brain starting to like add up a few details here. Wait a second. You said you got executed on the day of Silver Sun?
Shadows filled with a dying heart. Shadows now my false life start. I cast false life on myself because I need the 10 HP.
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
Oh boy. Just if this is gonna pop off, I want to be ready. Okay, so I rolled. I get 1d4 plus 4 temp hit points. I rolled 2, so I have 6 temp HP. Great.
What does it look
Um,
like when you cast False Life on Everard?
um,
His cheeks become rosy, like
I actually think that like, uh, yeah, I think so. I think he like, um, his like pallor clears a little bit in the firelight. So because he's not only in addition to the hole in his neck, he does. You would have all noticed he's deathly pale all the time, and that now makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think he like sort of begins to look ruddier and more normal when he casts False Life.
and once you get on that intimidation check.
Let me roll that. Go with this guy. I haven't rolled
And
yet
how is
today.
everyone else responding to this sudden change in the atmosphere?
Oh wait, you said I had advantage on that, right?
Yes, please.
That first one was not great. That first one was like a 9. No, that first one was a 7.
I think Sam
Second one's not great.
initially
Second
was
one's
going.
11.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Sorry. Second total roll was 11.
Got it.
Yeah, I think Sam was initially trying to like turn on the old charm, to be like, no, you misheard. Don't worry about it. But and then, sorry, Pixel. What's
Everard.
your character's name again? Everard.
Everard Elder Tingle.
Yeah. Um, Everard started, ghosting it up. And I think Sam shrugs and like steps up to his feet and just kind of puts a hand on his sword. You didn't hear anything.
Didn't hear anything. What are you, deaf? Look, my older sister is the reason I had to join the post. The censor took her 25 years ago when Maeva Bart went rogue and they started snapping up all the firstborns. So, guess what? No dowry for me. I gotta earn it. So I had to become a career woman. And the last thing I wanted was a career. I just wanted to retire in peace. You mean to tell me that I have been a captain in the Postmen in order to earn my bread and jerky? Because my sister went off to collect a bunch of mismatched baubles? And this little shit is the reason she got? No, I heard right. I don't know you, but I can tell by your uniform that you're out of code. So I'm gonna have to levy a fine.
I'm gonna grab the captain by the back of their uniform and throw them over my shoulder and start walking out of the clearing. I will make a strength check.
Do it. Grappling check. You have to beat.
Oh, perfect. That's a nat 20.
You beat it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Come here.
You pick up the captain like a sack of potatoes, and in which direction do you take them?
Just a little bit farther out, like not far enough where it's like, okay, we can't see the firelight anymore, but far enough that I can like sit her down in the mud and be like, hey, can we not threaten to kill the people that are actively helping us get somewhere safe?
So you sort of took her off over by kind of where you buried the bodies.
Yeah.
And Nail is already regretting having fished her out of the drink.
Yeah, so as Catalina carts the captain off, plops her down next to that the fresh grave of the censor antiquarian next to the 2 gilded lily graves. Give her a stern talking to, and as the captain sort of stumbles back on her butt, she puts a hand down to kind of stabilize herself, to push herself up. And at that moment, the censor antiquarian's hand bursts up out of the ground, grabs the wrist of the captain, pulls it down in. The other hand explodes up out of the earth, holding the head of the corpse, which is now gnashing its teeth, and it bites down on the captain's arm. Ah! What the hell?
Oh, God.
As you also hear some shuffling moans, which are coming from all around you. So, as you hear the shout of the captain cry out in pain, Catalina, you are on the outskirts. The rest of you are sort of circled around the campfire. Boy, that's a nice, healthy volume, isn't it? So, I would like everyone to get ready for combat. We are going to be doing group initiative. So you are all going to be acting first. Announce your attacks in as you would like to make them. And for Jacob, this is a bit of a refresher for Jacob. But we're going to be using this sort of like surrounded rules where all of you are going to be occupying this safe zone around the campfire. The space immediately outside of that, sort of the camp, is your ranged zone. And then the space where Captain Granolthy and Catalina are on the outside of the crick is going to be the combat zone. As Catalina, you look out into the forest, and you see shuffling figures who are approaching the campfire. And Jacob, I'm sending you over a little thing about Theater of Mind zone combat, some just extra Postmen combat rules we're using. As you all hear the cry from Captain Granolthy, what do you do? It is everyone's turn in combat before being approached by the shuffling undead.
Can we see any of the targets at this point?
You can see the centaur antiquarian, which has risen up out of its grave, one hand clawing out at any living thing, and the other clutching the chomping head, which was formerly attached to its body.
Catalina just yells out, "Somebody needs to punt that head," and then takes the captain and tries to move her inward because this person can't do anything, just been bitten by a zombie. You need medical attention, and Meatbone is in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh boy! It's Meatbone's time to shine, baby!
So are you dragging the captain towards the safe area so that Meatbone can perform an emergency amputation?
Yeah, I feel like that's what I have to do.
All right, so
the captain doesn't have common sense.
Amputation rules. Meatbone has a cleaver, which is made out of old gold. It is a surprisingly, devastatingly overpowered magical item. It will cut anything in 5 chops, but he has to hit it 5 times. It does 1 damage every time it hits, and on the 5th time, it cuts through cleanly whatever, but he gets 2 attacks every round. So, he needs to make 5 of those hit in order to successfully amputate. If he doesn't, Captain Granolthy may soon be joining the ranks of the undead. So we'll kick off.
Don't stop.
We'll kick off the fight with Catalina dragging, rather probably throwing the captain back towards the fire, so that Meatbone can take 2 attacks. And we'll kick it off with Meatbone doing 2 attacks. Meatbone's got a +3 to hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. 2 hits. You all see as Meatbone is like, "Oh boy!" Hefts this gigantic flat metal cleaver on his shoulder. Whack! Whack! Hits Captain Granolthy in the arm twice. You see blood and chunks of flesh as he pulls back, just sort of whipped across the campfire. What's everyone else gonna do?
Sam's gonna run to the combat zone.
Okay, Sam, you run out to stand next to Catalina in the immediate conflict zone where you and the enemy will meet.
I also want to say, Sam, a while back, I granted inspiration to whoever the blonde guy is with chat inspiration. So.
Oh, did you know?
I'm the blonde guy.
Yes.
That's right. I'm on the PC side now, baby.
Woohoo! All right, chat inspo.
Okay, so Sam is going to use his full movement to go from the safe zone to the combat zone. You do still have an action, I think, because of being a higher level character. Would you like to attempt any actions against the only enemy target you have right now is the zombie sensor antiquarian?
Sure thing. Yeah. Question. So I already fought and killed this person, right?
Mhm, yes.
Okay. So would my battle master know your enemy? Where if you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it took a minute for you to kill them?
Well, there was probably some interaction before the killing happened.
I'll say yes. I'll say that you are familiar enough with this target that you will get the benefits of know your enemy.
Great. Then can I learn its armor class and current hit points?
Yes. Do you have to roll for that, or you just get to know?
If I spend a minute observing them, the DM tells you if the creature is my equal, superior, or inferior.
Okay.
And then I get to pick 2 of a list, and AC and hit points are on that list.
Great. All right. So they are your inferior by quite a bit. Their AC is 15, as they're still wearing some of their high class armor. They're wearing a fairly nice steel breastplate. And you get to know their, what else? Their hit points?
Yeah.
They have 8 hit points.
Oh, cool. Then Sam runs out with this covered shield and his longsword. And yeah, he's just going to swing down. Go down for the stab or...
Sure. Give me attack and damage. And while you're rolling that, is anyone else preparing any other actions while they see Sam run to the front lines?
I mean, I'll be casting Chill Touch on something from the ranged area.
Okay, well, give me those rolls.
So you now see, now that the cat's out of the bag, Everard stands up, doesn't pull out the crappy little crossbow, and once again blinks. His eyes go black, which looks weirder now that he's not super pale because of the false life. And says, "Shadows block the wounding light. Darkness frees the pulse of life." And he casts Chill Touch with a...
What'd you
Probably
get,
doesn't
Jacob?
hit.
I got a 15 to hit, and I dealt... I rolled a 1 on the damage. 6 slashing damage, but I do have 2 attacks.
All right, so
at this level.
you hack down into this zombie's shoulder right next to where its head used to be. It sinks down in. The hand that was free is now sort of useless. The hand that's holding the head is kind of still lashing out at you. What did Everard rolled on that Chill Touch?
It's a hot 11 on the Chill Touch.
Chill Touch. And what does the Chill Touch look like? Just a ghostly hand flying through the air?
A ghostly skeletal hand.
Go ahead and give me that other attack roll, Jacob.
It's a 22 with 10 damage.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a ghostly skeletal hand, but given the circumstances of my death, I think it's like this kind of lunar fiery glow of a hand.
All right.
It's very much like Silver Sun-esque.
Yeah, a glittering silver mote of light slashes through the sky, and it looks like a clawed hand. It whizzes towards the Censor Antiquarian, which has ducked because of the longsword buried in its shoulder. As that longsword is ripped out and comes down again, it hacks down into the torso, severing the spine, and the whole Censor Antiquarian's body just collapses into itself and crumples back down.
And seeing that he's missed, Everard says, "Balls!"
As you see that tiny mote of blue-white light escape from its body and flit off into the distance, its glow illuminates in passing the scarred faces of several other zombies who are approaching you through the brush. Nail, what's Nail up to?
Okay, Nail fired one shot with his short bow, but I rolled a 1, so it missed. And so then I draw my rapier and head towards the melee range.
All right, you approach behind Catalina and Sam. Catalina, you've thrown the captain back to get some emergency medical attention. Do you do anything as battle is joined?
I think I'm just gonna ready an action for something to approach me. And I think I'm gonna use the old gold thread, and because I have 2 weapon fighting, my regular whip, and whoever comes gets hit.
Okay. 4 zombies approach out of the underbrush. You can tell that they are all crick elves. They are bearing wounds and cuts. They were obviously killed violently, and they were not given a proper end to their repose. So they are.
I have to ask.
Yes.
What kind of pants are these crick elves wearing?
Yeah.
If any.
So one of them is wearing culottes. 2 of them are wearing breeches, and the 4th is wearing high waters.
Okay, that was 2 in culottes.
2 culottes, a breeches, and a high waters.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Time for my logistics question.
Yes.
So, from the ranged area, as Apollo would be behind everybody, I have this currently shrunken blunderbow.
Yeah.
Can I deploy this as a stationary-esque ballista that he could then fire into the group of approaching zombies?
Yeah, I think you can take maybe a log or a stone, whatever you were sitting on. Maybe it's one of the food barrels or something, and you're able to sort of crank that thing. And anyone who would watch sees this little hand crossbow in your hand just immediately go woof, and it settles on top of that, mounted, and you're able to kind of pivot it towards whatever you're going to shoot at.
Every time you make a shot, it says Soldier Boy.
You!
So, my follow-up question to this is, how are we going to work dice and or rolls revolving this impromptu ballista?
Depends on what you put in it.
Well, you said we're kind of still near the beachhead.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm thinking just a fistful of the gravel from the ground fired out of this thing.
All right. Give me a fistful of gravel. Give me 3d4.
All right.
Is this like a dex save on their part, or is he
so
rolling an attack?
Sam, Catalina, Nail, I would like dexterity saving throws from each of you, as Apollo is about to scattershot sharp gravel, beach gravel, into this onslaught of zombies. If you make the save, I'll give you half damage. Or, excuse me, if you make the save, I'll give you no damage, because I'm assuming he's trying to avoid hitting you. You'll take half damage if you fail.
That's a 22? Yes.
All right.
Now you got a 14.
14
Got
pass.
a dirty 20.
Pass. Okay. So all 3 of you are able to duck in time as you hear Apollo shout out, what do you shout out, Apollo?
I think it's just a matter of like get down right before he lets this thing loose.
All right, so you all hear, get down! You all immediately fall. You are all now prone, so you'll need to use half your movement to stand up next action.
And this may be kind of like bending stuff. I have Shield Master.
Yes.
And if I'm subjected to an effect that allows me to make a dex save,
+2.
no. If I make the save, and normally it's a half damage, I can use my reaction to take no damage. Can I say instead I use my reaction to like block the shots that were going towards me so I can stay on my feet?
Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say though. Blocking the shots is going to shred the cloth covering your shield.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Ace, give me an attack roll.
An attack roll or the 3d4?
Oh, excuse me, damage roll. Yeah. This is a cone attack. So
it was 7 in total from the 3d4.
All right. You watch as 3 of the 4 zombies that emerge from the dark forest into the edge of the campfire light just get absolutely riddled with gravel, stuck in their eye, their skin, just shreds whatever exposed flesh they have. They are all still very slowly creeping towards Nail and Catalina and Sam. Sam, who stayed up, actually is able to deflect a bunch of the gravel, shredding the cloth on his shield, revealing it to the party, but also serves to deflect enough of the gravel away from that 4th zombie that they don't take any damage. But what does everybody see, Jacob, when the shield is revealed?
Yeah, I think as the cloth is kind of ripped away, the first thing that shines through is this like radiant light, and it continues to kind of peel and rip. And at this point, I think as it starts to give, Sam grabs the back and pulls it off just so he doesn't have like loose cloth hanging to snag on things, and fully exposes this radiant old gold kite shield that anyone who has read up on the Postmen would recognize as the bright wood board, the shield of Constance Romanoff, the first Postman. But this kind of radiant old gold shield with this insignia of the I'm forgetting the name of the wheat.
Yeah, the Fan Shifu wheat, the House Romanoff.
Yeah, the Fan Chief wheat. It kind of imbued on the front of it, glowing with this old gold shine.
Yes, you all see, as you have heard in legend and myth, the shield of the founder of the Postmen being borne by Sam Asbarellian. The zombies all stumble forward. They are going to take attacks on everyone. Nail, Catalina, and Sam, could you please tell me your character's armor classes? Or
14.
14, okay.
Okay, Nail's is 15.
Okay.
Sam's is 20.
Okay.
I feel bad bringing such a high level character.
So Sam, two of the zombies collapse onto you, and you just slap them away with your shield. They scratch at it ineffectually. Catalina, you get scratched by exposed skeletal fingers as they rake at you on the ground. You take 3 points of piercing damage. Nail, you are able to roll out of the way as one of the zombies tries to almost slam down onto you. It's now everyone's turn again. There are still 4 zombies up in the conflict zone. So we are going to roll for Meatbone's amputation, see how that goes. We have 1 hit and 1 miss. So you see Meatbone come down a 3rd time on that arm that the captain has stretched out. Glemma and Knock Knock are holding him down.
Wait, if they're holding him down, doesn't he get advantage on that roll?
Yeah.
All right, I'll re-roll the
The
one he
captain's
missed.
prone.
You know what? Fair. All right, he rolled a 4 on that last one. Let's see if he can do better. It's a nat 1.
Damn.
So it's still a miss. So Cleaver, he rears back. Cleaver slips out of his hand. There's some blood and things slick up his fingers. So he has to spend the rest of the time picking it up and hefting it onto his shoulder again. So it's now y'all's turn. Tell me what happens.
I have that prepared action and bonus action, so I'm gonna go with the old gold thread first.
Would you like to stand up?
Oh yeah, I stand up first.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Yes, you stand up. You don't get attacks of opportunity from going from prone to standing up, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
All right,
I
Catalina.
don't think in this.
Not in 5th edition, I don't.
Got it. Yeah. Tell me, what does Catalina do?
The first with the old gold thread is a 16 on the die plus 17.
Hits.
I mean plus 7 is 23.
Yeah, hits.
And then because I'm using 2-weapon fighting as a bonus action, I can hit again with a different weapon, which is just going to be my regular whip. That is a 14 on the die plus 6. That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Hits. So give me damage.
That is 8 damage from the old gold whip and 7 damage from the regular one.
The old gold whip lashes out this almost imperfect, this seemingly impossibly thin, shimmering gold thread whips out from Catalina's hand, and you see it wrap around the neck of one of the zombies and just pop the whole thing off, and it collapses, and you see burn marks around the flesh where it touched. And immediately a small blue mote of light jumps out of the body and wiggles off into the crick. So you've taken down one zombie. Give me the damage for the regular whip.
That one was, oh my goodness, I think 7. I can re-roll it. I don't remember.
That's fine. You lash out at the zombie who is attacking Nail. 7, 12, 15. This zombie takes the whip to the face, splits its flesh. Half of it falls off, revealing skeleton underneath. But instead of falling down, it kind of jolts back into consciousness and continues its attack. Anything else from Catalina?
No, that was my bonus action, so.
All right. Who's next? We got 2 zombies still attacking our camp.
Yeah, Sam will take some swings at him.
All right, Sam, give me attacks.
That's a nat 20.
Crit.
For that is 15 points of damage.
Okay. Nope. not a nat
And
20.
then he'll take his.
You hack at one of the zombies, and it immediately just sort of like crumples and slips off your sword to the ground. Mode of light wiggles off. You've taken out all but one of the remaining undead.
Nice. I'll do my second attack. It's a 17.
17 hits.
That is 6 points of damage.
All right, 6. Failed. Tell me what happens.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh. I think it is this kind of practice swing. The Brightwood board gets exposed, and he turns and kind of just rushes in after this old gold thread goes and like slashes through. He kind of ducks under and comes through with just 2 quick slashes at the ones that are left standing. waits for him to fall.
And sort of like a bad anime, you know, they stand there for a second, frozen, and then, you know, everyone takes a quick breath and blinks, and the zombie falls over dead. So, as you are all now standing over the newly redeceased, what is everyone doing? Oh, you know what? Meatbone has a couple more rolls to make. Unless anyone wants to stop him. All right.
I ain't getting involved.
So that is one hit and one miss. Advantage. So I'll re-roll the miss. Does not hit. That's a fourth hit. Meatbone whacks Captain Granolthy's arm a fourth time. The captain cries out, "No more! No more! Ah! Just stop! I'll be fine! Just bandage it! Seriously!" Meatbone looks around at everyone else. I see two thumbs! Okay! That's a hit. As the captain, you expect them to cry out in an immense amount of pain, but the cleaver just very lightly passes through. The arm is severed, and just like the old gold thread, the area of the arm that was shorn off has almost just been like cauterized. The wound doesn't bleed. The captain kind of blinks, sobering up a little bit. Oh my gosh. Saints above, that I don't feel anything. That's incredible. Wow, these amputations actually kind of work.
I think Everard walks over to the captain,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say that he like squats down, but he doesn't have to, because like while she's sitting on the ground, they are basically the same height. And he just looks her in the face and says, "Listen, I'm not responsible for your older sister being dead, okay? We ran into some kind of wizard experiment magical creature thing that was fully sentient, all right? And your sister was intent on dragging that thing back to the Central Antiquarian, and it killed her. It killed her ass. It threw her ass off a goddamn cliff. All right? I didn't have any part. Do I look like I throw people off cliffs? Fucking no. I'm tiny. I have little noodles for arms, okay? She brought that shit on herself, and I got blamed for it, and they cut my fucking throat. If you want to fight, you want to go, you think you got a chip on your shoulder about this shit, fucking come at me, all right? I will. And he starts to spark a little bit of like magic in his hands, prepping either like a witch bolt or a shocking grasp. I will fucking burn the life out of you, bitch. Do not come for me.
Well, first of all, you know, arms are a bit of a sore subject, so that was kind of rude. But I got one good hand left, and I'm willing to bury the hatchet. Captain Granathy holds out her hand to Everard. Does Everard accept?
Reaches his hand out, and just before he touches, lets the electricity out of it, like releases it. So it's like it's electrified as he's reaching towards her, and then the electricity fades just the instant before they actually connect, and he takes the hand.
All right.
But just like to remind her on the way in that like just shaking even if my hand is empty, it's not safe. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of a like.
Yeah, you see her kind of jump when your hands touch, and then she relaxes a little bit. The handshake happens, eyes, never leaving contact. All right. Yeah, I mean, siblings, right? Especially the older ones, rotten. bygones be bygones.
I like both of my sisters.
I am sorry your sister died, but there was nothing I could have done to stop it. I couldn't even do this stuff at that point. What am I going to get my quill out of and fucking write something?
All right, keep your
Anyway.
quill in your pants. Wow. I guess I owe all of you my life, huh? Wow, that sucks.
I tell you, life's a bitch.
Well, and then you don't die, apparently.
I mean, he gestures over towards the zombies. It's going around.
Yeah, we gotta get out of this swamp. Captain Granolthy, with her amputated arm, sort of starts reaching and then is like, takes the one good hand she has left, pulls the itinerary out, and hands it over to Everard. You might as well take this. I think she takes her hat off. I think maybe it's time I step down as captain. Puts the hat down on a one of the seats. I I can officiate a vote if there's anyone who would like to be nominated to replace me.
I nominate Everard.
I feel like Everard's like looks very scared and just sort of looks over at Sam.
Don't look at me. I'm not a postman anymore. I mean, you're doing a good job so far, Everard. I mean, why not?
You can have it.
I mean, the hat did look pretty good on you. I'm just saying.
It's way too big. Way
That's
too
the appeal.
It suits you.
I mean, I do. Okay, so I feel like I need to clarify that I am actively on the run from one of the most powerful organizations on the continent, who, as far as I can tell, are actively allied with the Postmen broadly. So I'm not entirely like, what do we mean by is the cat? Like, in terms of our little internal situation here, it can be whatever it'll be. But like, whatever we get where we're going, I'm
Who's
not real
not
sure what that
wanted?
plan looks like.
Well, I mean, when we get where we're going, we're the last run, right? So does any of it really matter after that?
I mean, you have that paper. That matters to somebody, right?
Serena speaks up. Oh, you mean the paper that nominates the next Postmaster General? The next person who's going to lead the postmen? Who will take control of all of the posts and offer direct edicts to all of them to rally around a central cause? That paper is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh,
Yeah,
now he's interested. Now he's interested.
we did some light forgery and like fraud and stuff like that, and we have a paper that can declare who's the next Postmaster General.
But listen, it was for a good reason.
It was for a
We
very
we
good
did
reason.
it for a good reason.
We may have destroyed a very loving marriage
Who cares about
and
that? They're both
sparked off
bad
a
people.
pirate war in the process, but we do have a writ that certifies any individual person that we decide to write on it as the next Postmaster General.
Who are you going to write on it?
And don't forget, I mean, with all the stuff that's happened, all the stuff that we've, shall I say, managed to accomplish to this point, there ain't none of us that are out from under the cloud. Talk about on the run.
Hey, my
If this
record's
thing goes,
clean.
if this thing goes sideways, we're all gonna be looking for someplace else to be.
It kind of sounds like that's something that a postmaster general could have known. Unless I'm misinterpreting the bylaws.
Well, look, and I think it also has to be said, right? The post is very powerful and obviously important. And in the skies of shadow, when it's maybe the only link between any given geographical areas in this whole place, pretty crucial. But there are other, like, political entities that exist in the world, right? So if they, power is a funny thing, right? It's a collective fiction that we all sort of agree to, right? But if we create too much of a schism between these organizations, we could be staring at some pretty severe consequences.
And you
I mean,
all
I've read
know that,
history. I've seen some, I've read about some things.
and you're all pretty aware now of the state of the fact that both the Gilder of Jafrune and the Pentarchy, the cult of Saint Pfulora, specifically their militant wing, the Censor Antiquarian, they have their fingers dug deep into the Postmen. The Postman no longer operates just sort of as its own thing. It's under the thumb of these two ideological powers now.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying we have to have an answer to that, like, right now. Because we clearly, he gestures at the dead zombies, have some pretty serious issues with which to contend before we even. I mean, we gotta get halfway around the world before this even becomes relevant, I think. But I don't know. Like, maybe we should plan for what's next. You know what I mean? Like, what if whoever we choose to be Postmaster General or whatever, like, what kind of world? It seems to me, folks, that we sit at an inflection point here. God, I had to choose the Mickey voice for this.
Yeah, that's
We sit at an inflection point here, where the fate of a lot of people outside of ourselves could be branching in a lot of different directions based on the things that we're choosing to do that none of us really asked for. So I guess we should ask ourselves and each other, what kind of world do we want to live in, you know? I mean, it's not exactly fair that we're the people who get to answer that question, but since we're in the position that we are the ones who are gonna get to answer it, I think we should, think about that answer.
Meatbone pipes up. Well, I gotta tell you, I've served under a few captains now, and well, they talk a big talk, but well, we all just kind of did what we wanted anyway, and I think it worked out fine. I don't even know that leadership's important.
It is.
Okay, so we have a vote for anarchy, which seems counterintuitive to vote for, just on the nature of voting itself, sort of, kind of.
What would you put on the writ? Would you just put like N.A.?
I mean, I think the point of anarchy is no more writs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the piece of paper decides who the. It doesn't matter.
I think you symbolically burn it or wipe your ass with it or something.
Do y'all show Sam the writ?
Who has the writ at this point? Still Apollo, right?
Yeah, I would assume that. I'd still have it.
Yeah, because we like worked together to forge the thing and cut the thing off, but I'm pretty sure everyone would have just given that back to you, assuming that it was your purview.
Yeah, and I have the locked folio with all that stuff in there. So, I mean, it's at least for the most part tucked away. But I mean, yeah, I think in the moment as we're discussing it, I think Apollo would probably unlock it and at least pull it out to let Sam see it. I mean, he's proven trustworthy to this point. And again, Apollo's not really attached to this whole thing. He was just more against the wrong person having it. So
Sam, I think, would immediately recognize that this writ is written on Asberalian vellum.
I think if Apollo lets Sam like hold it, he does kind of like feel it in his fingers for a minute, and his eyes kind of soften. Uh, and then he hands it back. He goes, "The Postmaster General could, through the bylaws, declare the post's ties to the Pentarchy, specifically the cult and the Gilder, legitimate. With that, the post could also forgive the labor debt to anyone who is forced into service for the post by the Gilder, and forgive the charges against anyone forced into service by the cult. That would most likely spark a civil war or conflict of some kind, but a life without the Pentarchy doesn't sound too bad to me."
Sounds like you have a plan.
Are you volunteering?
I I am not. I would rather not be in charge of anything. I've made a lot of mistakes.
Do you know somebody who is competent and able to do the job?
I know people who are competent and able to lead the Postmen, but I don't think that they would be on our side. I'm just some crazy guy you guys met in a swamp to be.
Hey, I was
Look,
gonna
man.
nominate my uncle's girlfriend's girlfriend.
You killed those zombies super good. You have that dope shield that's got that like Postman shit right on it.
You got to understand, this was initially to be delivered to some crazy ass pirate that tried to kill us.
Yeah, Cam Soggy Boots.
Soggy boots?
Yep, that the very same. So yeah, there was a whole other part of this where there was a letter from Jafrune of Jafrune to Soggy Boots saying that Jafrune had been appointed as the Lord High Lord of Agros, uh, thus unioning the Pentarchy and the Gilder, and that he had won enough political influence to pardon Soggy Boots, appoint him head of the post, and basically use the post to legally plunder and stuff. That was, I think, the explicit plan written very clearly on the document that I guess he just assumed no one else would read. So we sort of saw that and we're like, we kind of sit at this, we have an opportunity to do something about that, and it seems like that would be bad. So we kind of did do something about that. And that was like literally yesterday that happened. So it's been a busy week for us.
I I just watched after a post when I was a scrivener. This is I am extremely impressed that a bunch of carriers have been this efficient. It's you all are doing incredible. Anyway, I don't know who else would be one for the job. I don't want it. But if you agree and if the plan sounds, semi-rational, then that's how it falls.
I mean, I think at this point the question is, you don't want it, but are you willing to do it? I mean, I think we are all put in a position, even at this very moment, we don't necessarily want to do what we're doing, but for the better good of, Apollo just kind of gestures around, well, most everybody, we kind of just opted into this situation to try and make the most of it.
But also, if you don't want to and it's a hard no, you should probably say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to force you into anything, but don't talk yourself out of it because you feel like, you've never done anything like that, or you done too much wrong. Like, we've all done something wrong.
I'm going to be clear here that I think you're the obvious choice for the job, and that I will undermine, regardless of what you want, at every opportunity, I will undermine any ability that you have to not take it. So that's just cards on the table there.
At this point, Apollo's also walked over towards Everard and has already handed him the rest of the writ, like waiting for it to be filled out.
I feel like Catalina looks at Serena and is like, we're the only people who care about consent.
Well, I don't know. This is just a complicated situation, Catalina.
Miles
I don't
says
know.
that since it sounds like I was hasty, so I withdraw my nomination of Everard.
Well, I think we also have two different things going on here, right? There's like who's going to be the captain of this little crew, and then who's going to be in charge of the entire Postmen. You know, neither of which I think necessarily has to be decided right this exact instant, but I suppose that there's a possible world in which, you know, some other various configurations of that can happen. Not that I'm saying I necessarily want the captainship. I'm just feel obligated to point that out because I'm like that. It's a disease.
How about we sleep on it? No one make any choices right now.
I think that smacks of wisdom.
Are we sleeping here in the zombie-filled swamp?
I think you all are able to hear quite loudly the trilling of frogs.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
that means we can stay here.
We're good.
We killed the zombies, the frogs came back. It's a good day. It's the best things happened so far. Well, second best, actually.
Knock knock looks at you. What's the best? What's the best?
You
We
people
all
didn't
shared
freak
our
out when you found out
feelings.
I'm dead.
Oh, that's fine. I know all kinds of dead people.
That is, and this is only for Beast, that is a 21 on deception.
Thank you.
I met Pfulora. Kind of. That's probably the biggest thing that's happened. So
Today?
no.
Oh,
Silver Sun.
sorry, because I was very blinkered on the timeline there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Silver Sun. The whole thing with Kaiser. Well, you were getting your
Gotcha.
throat slit. Me and Pfulora were committing regicide.
Do I have what is my experience and memory of that?
Well, so you were sort of rounded up and imprisoned for a couple of weeks leading up to Silver Sun.
No. What I'm talking about is like the actual, like let me put it this way: from the moment my throat gets cut to the
Right.
moment I get myself down and begin to escape. What's my experience in that Is it just a blank spot for me?
Kind
or
of.
do I have any experience of why this happened to me? Like any, any sensory or
I think that when you think about it, you feel a little tingle. And you know what that means.
Yeah, all right.
But I don't think that you have a great sense. You just, I think you're all starting to realize something happened on Silver Sun. And Sam says he was there. So does anyone have any burning questions that they would want to ask someone who has firsthand experience at being at the place where the thing happened that everyone across the Beast Wilds is saying is the reason that we're all living in the skies of shadow?
I mean, I can just kind of summarize the events of that night if you guys are curious.
Yeah, Everard sort of pulls out his little like journal and gets his quill ready.
Serena kind of leans forward. Do tell. I can't wait to hear.
All right. So, the morning of Silver Sun, I arrive in Agrost with my trusty assistant and cousin, Philip, to deliver a speech and accept my post. I am press ganged into a plot to assassinate King Kaiser, along with a Tabaxi bard, a Tiefling bard, um, Sabine, the Queen of Pirates, uh, and
Gold Death.
a drow with a metal arm. The Tiefling was named Wraith. The the Tiefling was named Melody. The Tabaxi was named Wraith. Sorry, it's been a minute.
Melody's my uncle's girlfriend. Or
Oh
his teammate.
wow! What a small world! Wow,
Right?
that's so fun. Anyway, we were press ganged into a plot to assassinate King Kaiser. We got together at the time to do it, and something happened as we prepared to make the killing blow. An old man made some kind of invocation. A Jorian is who he truly was. The Emperor Ajorian, the Lost Emperor. He created a sort of loop of the day of Silver Sun in which me and my compatriots were kind of caught in this loop of trying to kill King Kaiser. Every time we failed, Kaiser woke something up and the world ended. When we were finally able to stop him, we needed to functionally steal his collection of old gold from glitter dust stolen from the lock. We took out his inner circle, and in the end, we crashed his party. It was a wedding. I was getting married. Not I wasn't for it. It was arranged, and we killed King Kaiser. And the moment he died, or a few moments after he died, the sky went black. I have this, and Sam pulls out the astrolabe, the planispheric astrolabe. It is this circular medallion with impossibly thin discs of gold etched into it, with the visual representation of a horizon in the skies. And there are little motes of light on it. Is this a good description, Beast?
Yep.
Little motes of light kind of on the edges of this astrolabe. And goes, if I'm remembering my directions, that's probably Sabine. That's probably Davin. And then Wraith and Melody, I'm not sure which ways they went. They've gone under the radar. But we killed King Kaiser, the sky went black. But Kaiser was trying to end the world. Not an exaggeration.
But the Lord, High Lord, one of the saintly six trying to end the world, why, he's sitting on cookanana fruit and cream. Who would go and mess up such a thing? Was he deranged? Possessed by a demon?
He was a demon.
You don't say!
He was. I mean, I'm not a theologist. I don't know the infernal or the abyssal or whatever. but he had red skin and horns, uh, and a face made of porcelain glass.
Serena is self-consciously touching her satyr horns.
Like there are people with horns. That's not the part. It's the trying to blow up the world and hide in his true form. He also had bright green hair, I think.
Oh, you're fine, Serena. You're his friend.
Okay. So Sam has told y'all a lot of details of the events that have been hinted at in all of these different missives and letters that Apollo has been delivering. You've learned a little bit more about what happened in the Beast Wilds before this adventure began. And from what everyone's hearing, it definitely sounds like Sam and his companions, Sabine, who you've heard of from Soggy Boots, the famous pirate lieutenant, the Gold Death, was there, along with a few others, a Melody, some sort of red-skinned bard, Wraith, a tabaxi, a cat person bard, Sam himself, who's here with you. And this information isn't what you've been getting in the news. This is stuff that is like super hush hush. This is the first time you're all hearing it, and it will seem like a completely different story than what everyone has been told. And that's important, because as you've all probably also realized by reviewing your Postman manuals, who's telling the story seems to matter a lot more than what really happened.
So given that this all seems so different from what we've heard, me and my super hot -1 insight would like to just sort of like vibe check our good buddy Samael Adremelech the 666th or whatever over here.
Sure. Jacob, if you wouldn't mind rolling a check. I guess are you lying? Is Sam lying?
I mean, my insight
No,
is a 3, so
Sam is being completely honest as least as far as he can remember.
Yeah, and I think Sam would communicate that to everyone, that he's not trying to reinterpret anything.
It's been a rough couple of months. I might have missed some details, but I spent like a month on a boat and it was miserable. Philip's still there.
Smash cut to Philip Snips, who is swinging through the rigging of a pirate ship, shouting as he's getting sprayed by ocean spray. "This is where I was meant to be all along!"
And in the background, just in the distance, we see like wind whipping through the purple flop of hair coming out from underneath the captain's hat. One pirate queen at the helm.
So, all of your characters have a lot to think about. You've proposed to Sam that he should be the postmaster general of the Postmen, by your estimation. He's politely refused, saying that he really doesn't want to be in charge of anything, but some of you seem to have gotten the sense that he's kind of the best man for the job. You know his name. He's carrying the shield for the Postmen. And he seems to have, he has, popularity, name recognition. He kind of fits the bill. For now, he has politely refused, but he doesn't hold the writ. You guys do. And I think in the morning, or whenever everyone has had a full long rest, has woken up and is prepared to make their journey, it's likely that Sam, even if he is there, is going in a different direction. So we'll leave the logistics of next steps up to the beginning of next session. You do know that the itinerary points you towards Dusty Springs. The captain has offered to abdicate her post and instead process the election of a new captain to lead all of you, whomever that may be. You've picked up a few new followers, Meatbone and Squeefa. Meatbone already proving himself exceedingly useful at keeping people who are bitten by zombies from turning. All it takes is 5 chops. So we're going to roll our travel dice before we outro for today's session. I believe it is. Is it Ace's turn or is it Synovia's turn? Or would you like to give Jacob a roll since?
Yeah, I think we give it to the guest if this is a one-off thing.
All right, Jacob. What you're going to do is you are going to roll. It's been a pretty light encounter, I think. Roll a d4, and that will represent the number of days of the journey timeline that our merry PCs have spent here in the crick with you.
I got a 4.
That's a 4. Thank you, Jacob. Scrivener, make sure to note 4 days have elapsed. And we will pick up next time where you all are going to head out. Yeah.
Can I have a little
Please,
outro?
yeah.
Sam is.
Yeah, I think as things are kind of wrapping up and Sam is maybe packing what goods he has on the back of Bucephalus and maybe like remounting the shield on Bucephalus's side, he turns to the group and goes, "Whatever you decide to put on that writ, I'm not going to say, yes, I want to be the Postmaster General. But if you decide that it should be me, I'm not going to say no." And he reaches around his neck and he pulls out this fossilized eye encased in crystal amber. And he holds it out and he goes, "This is taking care of me while I've been on the road and on my own. You all have a long journey ahead. I think one of you should take it." And he gives them the feral witness.
This is an amulet that is worn around your neck. It is the fossilized eye of a predatory animal. The wearer of this amulet is immune to surprise.
And what was it called again?
The feral witness.
Feral witness. Okay.
And we can decide who takes that at the top of next session if y'all would prefer. Thank you so much, Jacob, for jumping in. I know this was a social heavy, sort of lore-ish heavy kind of a session. I hope everyone had fun. I hope we all have a lot to think about, obviously. Very ideologically dense. Where do we go from here? What do we do? And I'm excited to see what decisions we make along the way. So, outros. Jacob, thank you so much for being a special guest. If you wouldn't mind going first, please tell us who you are, who you played, and if you would like to be found on the internet.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jacob. I played Samuel Invictus Asperelian the Ninth, the scion of House Asperelian, honorable former captain of the post, hero of Hope Falls, butcher of Agros, the White Trader, former censor expectant of Pfulora. And this was so much fun getting to be here. This is a really great world and story, and I just love being able to take part in it. You can find me on the Ages of Einor Discord, as have we met. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jacob. Thanks for being here. Bonus Dad, if you wouldn't mind, tell us who you are, who you played, and if you'd like to be found on the internet.
I'm Bonus Dad. I played Carrick Nailo, better known as Nail, and he's a Greyhawk Valley High Elf, a rogue, and you can find me on the internet. I'm also on Discord as Bonus Dad, on Ages of Einor. And let's see, and Bonus Mom 70 and I stream on weekday mornings from 9 till about 11 on TikTok. So join us there. Bonus Mom 70. She crochets, talks about D&D and other games, and I sing and do a little poetry and tell stories.
It's a wonderful time. Come on down. Thank you, Bonus Dad. Next up, Ace.
Yeah, I'm Ace. Tonight I played Apollo, the Hobgoblin Ranger. You can usually find me bumming around the Bonus Bombs Tavern Discord. I usually run a fair few games there. I'm on a bit of a hiatus right now, but hoping around February-ish to be posting a new game. Gonna kind of hammer a few more things out, so not a hard date set yet, but keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Ace. I'm going to skip me and go to Synovia.
Hi, I'm Sinovia. I play Catalina, again, a lean, mean, socially awkward green machine. And you can find me on TikTok at Flannel Flannel. I'm also on the Ages of Einor Bonus Mom Discord under the same name. I like flannel t-shirts, so sorry.
It's a great pattern, isn't it? I'm biased, obviously. I'm white enough that we invented that. But next, Pixel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pixel. Tonight, I played Everard Elder Tingle, the reborn, not halfling, the reborn Shadow Sorcerer. Bum, bum, bum. Big reveal. Very gross. And that was an absolute blast. Thank you so much, Jacob, for being here. Super fun to play with you. Always enjoy when you're at the table. You can find me here at Ages of Einor on Twitch this coming Friday for the last, for now, episode of Curse the Straw that we will be doing. Wrapping up, hopefully, a big story arc. And then one of our cast members is unfortunately going to not be able to play for a while due to some out of our control scheduling stuff. So hopefully we'll be picking that back up when his schedule changes again in the future. And then we have some upcoming games that are going to be starting in the new year. There's a sci-fi game that I'm working on. Very excited about. We're kind of finishing iron out some of the details with that. But I expect somewhere by mid to late January on into February, we'll be firing that up. And then I am on the lookout for another new campaign to replace my Curse of Strahd one. I'm considering running a couple different things. If you're interested in any of those, please join the Bonus Moms Tavern Discord, as I think I will be offering some opportunities maybe to folks in there to flesh out that cast. Also, you can find me on twitch.tv/hammerpixel, where I play a whole bunch of games. We already talked about at the beginning. You remember all that because you're a very smart boy or girl or person. And that's me.
Awesome. Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate the audience. Appreciate the cast. Thank you again for like the fourth time, Jacob, for jumping in as a special guest. Maybe we'll see Sam again. Who knows? But you can catch us in 2 more weeks, 2 Mondays from now at 6 p.m. right here on the Ages of Einor Twitch.
Which is New Year's, just FYI.
Yeah. Is that cool with everyone?
That's cool with me. I just want to make sure you were aware of that.
Yeah, let's discuss that off. We don't have that.
We'll do scheduling off stream. Keep the boring stuff away from y'all. Come to the Discord for any updates and to talk with us. But we'll see you then. All right. Take care, everyone.
Guess I got to keep waving until he actually gets this off stream.